Welcome, Newbie Preppers. Are you ready to take step 2 on your path to preparedness? Hi, I'm Jonathan.
And Kylene Jones, and we are the Provident Preppers. It's time for Newbie Step number 2. So far, you have completed a personalized risk assessment and you've started to stock up on a little bit of food and water. Great job.
Now we're going to jump into step 2. Step 2 is preparing your family emergency plan. There's great power in an emergency plan that's well thought out and designed. Let's get going. Here we go with prep step number 2, developing your family emergency plan. As part of prep step number 1, you should have already completed a personal risk evaluation. This risk evaluation is a foundational element that you need to be able to complete prep step number 2, which is developing the emergency plan. Also, as part of prep step number 1, you should have acquired a 1-week supply of water and a 2-week supply of food. Having completed those items, you're ready for prep step number 2. The developing of your family emergency plan.
It is important to begin by defining the goals for your family emergency plan. These are the goals for our family, and yours might differ, but I think this is a really good place to start. Our number 1 goal is to be able to stay safe. The second goal is to be able to be quickly reunited. When disaster strikes, we want to be able to reunite as a family as quickly as possible. Number 3, we want to limit our losses. That includes the loss of life and the loss of property. And number 4, we want to resume normal life as soon as possible. A good emergency plan will help minimize the amount of time that our life is in chaos. Your reading assignment for this week is to go to the Provident Prepper and read Steps to Build a Successful Family Emergency Plan. This article will take you through the entire process and help you think of things that you might want to implement into your personalized family emergency plan. Now, as we develop this emergency plan, the most important thing that we've done so far is our risk assessment, because we have to know the risks we face in order to mitigate them. The next thing we want to do is identify our family members. Now, this might sound really simple, but it's not. If you look at this picture of our family, first of all, we have one member of our family who's in a foreign country when this picture was taken. We have a relative who is living with us. We have toddlers who require a whole different set of handling than all of these teenagers that we have. When we have cats and we have dogs. Those are all members of our family, and they all need to be included in our family emergency plan. The other thing we want to consider are the special needs that each one of the members of our family may have. When it comes to special needs, it's important that we really evaluate what those needs are. I joke about chocolate being a need all the time, but in reality, it's really more of a want. I think it's a need, but it's a want. But oxygen for Grandpa here is a need. So we need to be very careful that we evaluate what those special needs are, and we need to plan ahead to make sure that those needs are met. If you have very small children or elderly, you need to make sure that you have emergency heating so that they don't get too cold, because cold for them can be deadly, where cold for a young, strong teenager is just inconvenient. And be realistic as you are planning for those needs. Your second reading assignment is to visit the Provident Prepper and read Prepping with Elderly and Disabled Loved Ones.
Another important component is your communication plan. This will define how you are going to communicate with each other when normal means of communication may be down. Another important aspect is your family skill set. This includes current skills that family members have, as well as some that are in the process of being developed. You will also want to identify needed skills that maybe nobody has at this point in time. Now, you can fulfill those needs in several ways. One is to develop those skills yourself, but also look out and see if you have friends or neighbors, people who have those skills that may need some of your skills, and you can use that as a way to help each other.
And evaluate your family resources. This is different for all of us. Though some of the resources that we currently have are things like this beautiful fruit tree, and we consider our home production a great resource for our family. And then there are resources that you might be in the process of acquiring. You just got your 2-week supply of food, and maybe your goal is to have a year's supply of food. And your food storage is definitely a resource. So that would fall into the category of resources that you are in the process of acquiring. And it's a good time to look and say, okay, and these are resources that we need. We don't have a way to cook our food when the power is out, so that's something we need to put on our list that we need to get. There are 2 main components to this plan. The first one is your home emergency plan. Your home should be this fortress, this wonderful place where you can exist and it's safe with the outside world going crazy all around you. And all of us can accomplish that to different extents. But we want to fortify our home, and we need things in our home like water storage and food storage, communication devices. We need those self-reliance skills that help us so we don't have to depend on others. We need to have systems in place so that when the power goes out, we have backups for cooking and heating and lighting. And we need to think about home security. So those are just some of the things that you need to think about. It's not time to do them all in this plan. Right now, we're looking at it and we're planning. We're trying to figure out what things we need to include in this plan so that then we can move forward. And then the second is an emergency evacuation plan, because sometimes it is possible that it will become unsafe at your home and you will need to take your family and leave. So the first consideration is, what are those threats, right? We did that personal risk evaluation. So what threats could potentially require you to take your family and leave your home? And if you leave your home, where are you going? And that might change depending on what the threat is. How are you going to get there? And what supplies, for instance, a bug out bag or a survival kit, are you going to need to take with you? And we are going to discuss this in future prep steps. Right now, we just want you to think about this and write it down and put it in your family emergency plan.
And now for your homework assignment. Develop a written family emergency plan using the plan of action provided on the website. And we'll show you that in just a minute. Hold a family meeting and discuss your new emergency plan and the steps that you're going to need to implement that. Now, it's important that you involve everyone and that you listen carefully to all the input the family members provide, and then you incorporate that into the plan as it makes sense.
This is the action plan that you will find at the Provident Prepper. In the main menu, you just click on where it says Action Plans, and there's some little icons. Click on the one that you want. In this case, we want the Family Emergency Plan. And it will pull up this page on the left, and you just want to click on that PDF for Family Emergency Plan of Action. It's a 3-page document, and this on the right is the first page. It'll just kind of help walk you through and stimulate your process. You can use this sheet if you want, or you can just use it to kind of help you brainstorm, but it has some good foundational ideas to help get that family plan started. The second page is a place for you to write contact information. We are so dependent on our cell phones. If I lose my cell phone, I can't call anybody. I have very few phone numbers memorized anymore. So it's very important that you have this written plan. And then on the right, it talks about developing an actual written plan. For us, we have this plan. It's a 2-sided plan. We have pictures of all the family members, all of the contact information. We have where we're supposed to meet, if what happens. We included like the privacy channels on the radio and different places where we're going to communicate with each other. In every one of our survival kits, we have a laminated copy of this plan for each person. The pictures can be very comforting if they get separated from the family, but it has all the information that they need. We also have this plan physically taped to the inside of our coat closet door that's by the entrance to our home, so that if there's any question about what's happening and what we need to do, all they have to do is open that door and look. It is important that you involve every member of your family, the little people, the big people, and everybody in between. Listen to what they have to say. It's a really good time that might give you an opportunity to help them work through some of the things that they are afraid of. But if every member doesn't understand the plan, it's not going to be anywhere near as effective as if we're all on the same page.
And there's no reason why you can't make it fun. If it's not fun, some people are going to opt out. If we make it fun, we all enjoy it and we all learn together.
One of the great ways that we have found to do this is to, instead of saying mom and dad are going to practice indoor cooking again, it's let's have fondue as a family. And that's exactly what we've done here. We are just using some of the skills that are important to be able to cook indoors when the power goes out.
The plan that you create is a living plan. It has to change because situations change and people change.
Once upon a time, our plan included these 3 little darling children. But then life changed. And before you know it, we've added another member to our family, and those babies aren't babies anymore. So they require a whole different set of circumstances. If you don't stay on top of your survival kits, you'll have diapers in a survival kit intended for an 8-year-old. And then suddenly it changes again. And they grow up and they're going away to college and they get married and they bring home more children. The point is that your family emergency plan can't be done once and just stay in its original form. It's important that you keep revising it. Sometimes those threats will change, people change, special needs change. Just make sure that this is a part of your regular life, that you always are thinking about how to best care for your family in whatever current stage those members are in.
Now that you're started on prep step number 2, you can be watching for prep step number 3, which is coming soon. In case you missed it, we invite you to check out the Provident Prepper, Newbie Prepper 10 Simple Steps to get started. Also on our YouTube channel, we have some great videos that will help you develop your family emergency plan. One of those is called Family Emergency Plan, and it's got great ideas and helps to get you going on that. And also Prepping with Disabilities. This is geared for people who have disabilities or care for people with disabilities or the elderly. Again, some great ideas to help you get going. Check them out. At first blush, step number 2 may seem a little bit overwhelming, but remember, we're not accomplishing the steps on that plan, we're simply getting the plan in place, and we're going to help walk you through it. So, time to read your homework assignments and get planning.
And now for the question of the day. What is the biggest challenge that you foresee in developing your family emergency plan? Comment below. And thanks for being part of the solution.